Right guys, let's see if we can get the mic to work. I'm just gonna be talking to Mike for a bit so I can get the audio levels right while we set up the lights. Right guys, let's see if we can get the mic to work. I'm just gonna be talking to Mike for a bit so I can get the audio levels right while we set up the lights. Right guys, let's see if we can get the mic to work. Alright, good evening everyone. Still a little loud on the music, right? Good evening everyone, this is the Divided States second live stream. It's actually a little dark in here. I think I'm gonna go grab one more light and light up the back of this room for a bit. Give me a minute guys. So we've got new lights coming soon. Something really neat that we're doing right now is we have a collaboration coming up with Inyas Alea, who's a friend of mine. He runs a channel called Tolerated Cinematics, and he has some old gear we will be buying off him. So basically what's going to happen is we'll have like a green screen, we're going to have new camera equipment, just a bunch of stuff that we can now afford thanks to the generous donations of our patrons. And I hope it will increase our video production quality, as well as basically open the, just give us the option of doing live action with a green screen in some capacity. Obviously that's going to be a limited capacity. Welcome to everyone listening. I'm seeing a lot of people from the Kingdom of Hawaii, so we've got Malone fans in here, of course. The greatest character in the Kaiser cinematic universe. How are the audio levels for you guys? You all good? What I'm going to do is either I'll put this light here, a little bit more on me, or I'll put it, I think there's quite enough light on me right now. I love these little lights, they're super easy to use. Make them a little brighter. Tonutuva Republic, now there's something I don't see every day. There we go. It's gonna light me a bit. For the people wondering what I was drinking, I was just drinking a soda. Put this light over here. The hardest thing is figuring out where to place these lights. They're always in the way. Because as you guys, if you guys don't know, we've got this. This is the setup. So we've got an Intuos tablet here. So I need some space to actually draw. Then I need to set up this webcam in some spot that's seen. There we go. All right, let's get started. I will need this thing, and I'm going to change this image, get OBS out of the way. We don't need this image right now, so let's say we change that into something different. This, of course, is the Divided States developer livestream 02. The 01 is simply called the community livestream. It was not called the Divided States yet. I'm going to fight OBS for a bit while I figure this out. Come on. There we go. Right, so what we will be doing today is we're basically starting to paint in all the painters that are supporting us. They're all doing cameos essentially. So luckily I've gotten approval from, let me just put a full cam on. Yeah, luckily I've gotten approval from 2 patrons to appear on this live stream with their reference photos. Let me just see if I can make the music a little louder. Music. There we go. So we've got Kingfish 58. This particular scene is called All the Senator's Men. And we've got Alexander on the left. Both of them have picked up this scene. I need to organize my... So right before I left you guys, I was working on Kingfish's part here. So as you can see, this is Alexander on the left. We've aged both of them up a bit so they would fit the general team. And this is Kingfish. Let's get to work. What I want to do is bring some of his features more out, and then see if we can get him a bit more in tune with the rest of the style of this thing. So I will also be answering questions about the upcoming Divided States series. You guys have been seeing we've been posting a lot lately. Obviously we're all still trapped inside due to lockdown, so we do have more time to work on this, which is a bit of a thing we can do to just stay sane in this strange time. I also have another scene with me. We'll start on once I finish this one, which features three new patrons actually, and is set during the opening stages of the proclamation of the combined syndicates. Some announcements while I'm here. We will be releasing World of Kaiser Fengtian tomorrow at oh, that's a little loud for me. I'm gonna knock it down, knock this down. We will be releasing World of Kaiser Fengtian tomorrow at about let's say 4 p.m. Eastern. It varies, but what's important is that it's the second in our China series, and then afterwards we're working on Shandong right now. Flame is writing the script for that one. We have illustrations already. We have 2 more World of Kaiser Reichs in production. We will also be releasing the next episode of the Royalist Radio. Well, it's not Royalist Radio anymore, it's just something quite different. But the next episode of Kaiser Reich Radio will be coming out next week on Friday. And then I hope to also do some kind of Divided States thing, like a dev dive or something. I haven't figured out the format that I want for it just yet. Probably next week on Wednesday, so a little more content than usually, because we usually do only one thing a week. but we do have quite a significant backlog. The votes for the Kaiser documentary are still going on, so if you haven't voted yet, make sure you go watch that video and put in your vote. So I've put my vote in for both Patrick and Tim Dawson, I think. So you can vote for multiple people. But I think that right now it's quite convincingly leaning towards Patrick. I'm actually gonna check right now. Kaiser documentary. Let's see how many views we have. Okay, narrators, results. seems Patrick's up with about 1,000 votes over Ken Turner, so that's pretty significant. And I think it'll probably stay somewhere in that space. So we'll be inviting Patrick to the channel soon. He's a professional narrator. I think I love his voice. Wonderfully British accent he has, and I think he does that BBC style of documentary really well. If you guys have questions about the upcoming Divided States cinematic that we're working on, just let me know. Notice you guys are not hearing the music. Okay, I am probably messed something up in OBS. I think what I need to do is add a source, add a media source, music. I'm not sure whether that does it. It's doing something, but I'm not sure what it's doing. Let's see if I... No, it's still picking up music from somewhere. Okay, so the music is working. Let's make it a little louder. I still don't understand a lot about the way OBS works, and it's quite strange because it takes every single thing you're streaming and it puts it in separate layers, and I'm never certain which audio is being picked up and which isn't picked up. Okay, and then I'll need to make my microphone a little strong. Knock this down. Alright. There's also the delay we have to account for, so that's why there's pauses when I'm talking. I'm waiting for something to happen. Still testing. Okay, I think this kind of works. What I was saying is we have... Actually, I'm not sure if you guys are hearing this double when I play music for myself as well. I'm not sure if the audio goes double. Doesn't seem to be doubling up, so that's nice. Alright, so that works. Putting off music, putting this on. Alright, so I was talking about the votes for the Kaiser documentary. Alex, I've tapped Alex to work on that one. Me and Alex will also be hosting a live stream next week because of the radio release, so we'll get Alex back on the show and see what he's been up to during the whole Corona crisis. I know he's in the UK right now. I assume he's eager to get back to working on new shows, so he'll be very excited to be doing be working on the Kaiser documentary. So he'll be doing all the editing. We have most of the script already hammered out. We have Tom Black coming in as a guest author so Tom Black, most of you guys might know, is the author of the book The People's Flag, which is a history book about the Union of Britain. It's I think the first person to ever release a Kaiserreich book. Probably will not be the last, but it's really good. He sent us a copy. I read it. We're talking right now about maybe taking an option on it so we can turn it into an audiobook, but obviously all of those things have been quite delayed with the Corona crisis. I'm seeing a super chat pop up. Mandalore Ultimate, thanks for the super chat. Remember guys, if you guys would like to support the channel, you can do this in various ways. The cheapest would just be to share our videos to people you know that you think are into history and would like the Divided States cinematic. Then you can always just buy a bit of merch. We just released the Every Man a King shirts, Share the Wealth Society ones, and we will soon be releasing a new map by Rusky Business. Actually, I'm gonna see if I can get you guys a part of that. Rusky Business, Rusky Russia. It's a Russian Civil War map. Russia. And Rusky is currently working on a Spanish Civil War and a Russian Civil War map, both for our timeline as well as. I'm gonna have to open this in Inkscape. Both in our timeline as well as Kaiserreich timeline. Wilson asks, will Rover be in the American Union States segment? Rover will not be in the American Union States segment because obviously that dog died like not 30 years before this whole thing, before the whole show goes down. So we're aiming for a 1930. Oh, this is making my PC angry. This is a pretty intense map, as you can see. There we go. So gorgeous map of the Russian Civil War by Rusky. This is our timeline, Russian Civil War, so it's not Kaiserreich timeline. And what's interesting about it is that we actually did this by request. Someone sent us an email and told us there's actually no good Russian Civil War or Spanish Civil War maps to be sold anywhere, which is strange. So we're making them now. And we might expand the web shop collection with these kinds of maps. I might make it a both historical and a historical web shop thing. Let's see what else I want to do in this thing. Probably want to upgrade his medals a bit. So Kingfish, big shout out if you're watching. I think you were, because we were chatting on Patreon just an hour or two ago. He is one of the Senator's Men. This scene is called the Senator's Men. I thought it was hilarious. Little reference to all the President's Men. In this case, the President being Huey Long. Let's see what we got. Homero asks, what is the best estimate for the Divided States beyond the pilot episode as a whole? Given that I have high hopes of this gaining traction. I think what Homer was asking about is basically a timeline to release. So to release, I'm just saying summer for now because there's obviously a lot. We've never done something like this before, something of this complexity, and there's definitely what's happening is that we're noticing basically a lot of extra work. Like, for example, we've never had an audio engineer before, but now we need to get someone in to actually mix the audio of these scenes because we've got things happening like let's say a riot scene in Chicago right before the outbreak of the war, for example, and we've got a lot of audio tracks going over each other, and I'm not good with audio, so I just put them on top of each other and it doesn't really sound good. So we need someone to come in, fix all that stuff, and there are like 100 little things like that we need to fix. I do feel that we're like well on track, and I'm thinking like July 4, like that would be a really cool day to sort of work with. Like maybe have the teaser out and then the first episode on July 4. But it's all preliminary. Again, this is not an exact science, so right now we're just saying it's done when it's done. I'm gonna have to look at this. Okay, shaping up nicely. Springtrap asks, will the USA, PSA, New England, or American United States win the Civil War against the Syndicalists and Silver Legion? The actual plot I'm not going to discuss. Thanks for the super chat, by the way, Mandalore. The South will rise again. Republic with democracy. We'll get more on the PSA reporter in the divided states. Frontline. Frontline asks, will we get more? Will we get more about... just a second, I'm getting a pop-up here that there's streaming issues. Yeah, will we get more about the Pacific States? Not immediately, because the divided states starts in Chicago, and will mostly be within the CSA boundaries and close to the American Union state for its first season. What I need is an image of Huey Long doing a speech so I can fix all these microphones. They look a bit weird right now. And I know the had... Yeah, this is a nice one. Like radios had this particular look back in the day. This is one. Perfect. I think I'm gonna have to fix these microphones. They don't feel very error appropriate right now. Springtrap asks, will the USA survive the Civil War against the Syndicalists? That's a maybe. I'm not going to delve too deeply into the actual like timeline that the animatic is going to be set in, because I think like part of the joy is going to be just figuring that out without getting clear information. Because one of the things that the divided states will not have, for example, is this like a moment where it says, then this is what's going on at the front, and we have perfect knowledge about everything. Because in a real sort of, if you're really living in a place like the CSA, like you're not getting actual front information. Right now I'm listening to A Salute to Catalonia, the book by George Orwell about his experiences in the Spanish Civil War. I felt it's a big inspiration for this particular animatic we're working on, because it sort of details the daily chaos of what it actually means to be in a civil war. And then you can only imagine that this is greatly magnified with just the sheer scale of America. I mean, the American Civil War is basically a European war all unto itself in terms of scale, in terms of distance. I'm gonna have an NBC mic, maybe if I add a little thingy to it. So some people about the scene pointed out that Huey Long doesn't actually use the phrase "America is dead" anymore. That's true. Actually, the frames I've been posting on the Reddit are basically just placeholder. It's not the actual line from the animatic. Actually, I think I'll show you guys a bit of the animation tests we have in a minute. Or maybe I'll fire up a render. Actually, no. The thing is that you guys, some of you remember that when I try to render during a live stream, it like taxes the computer too much and it crashes the whole system. So I'm gonna try and avoid doing that. People asking about focus trees about certain nations, so this is something I have to repeat quite often, but Kaiser Cinema does not work on the Kaiserreich mod directly. So we are basically a content collective of content creators, so I would say, who are fans of Kaiserreich. Now, I used to be a Kaiser developer. I'm a retired developer now. I still submit all of these in case the guys want to put them up as loading screens, because we're obviously making a lot of art and it could be used in game. But I don't know anything about what's going on with the mod right now, what the devs are working on. Obviously we stay in touch, but I mean it's all their decision. Zooming out, zooming in. I think our little Kingfish guy needs a little more shadow in his hands. What happened to Hugo Boss and Albert Speer? Actually, I have no idea where Hugo Boss would be in this timeline, and I don't think anyone has sort of considered that. Albert Speer, also not sure. You'd have to. I think the best place to ask there would be in the Ask a Dev channel on the Kaiser Discord, because that's where the people who do the Germany rework are, and then they'll probably know more about what exactly is going on with particular figures within the German Empire in this timeline. Also, this changes because they're working on reworking some of the older lore. I think one of the more recent announcements was that Trotsky is being axed and is no longer very much alive in the Kaiserreich timeline. The basic premise here has always been, well, the basic idea has always been that secondary historical figures rise to prominence in Kaiserreich, while actually historically important people are pushed to the sidelines. And I think it creates this very interesting system in Kaiserreich where you've got like Mosley, for example, who was a very marginal figure in real life, becoming this really huge thing in Kaiserreich. Alright, I'm gonna show you guys a little test, animatics test. I'll put this in the dev diary as well. I call this the Pianists test, and I think it's the first, the very first animation we ever did for basically to establish what the divided states would look like, and we're pretty close to that style still. So this is about the amount of animation you can expect from us. So this is part of what's probably going to be either episode 1 or the latter half of episode 1 and 2. This part of the story actually goes to Berlin and talks about a pianist that was exiled from the CSA, who used to live there when everything went down. We don't actually use the term pianists anymore. I would just say the divided states. I felt that was a little more apt because there's really only these 2 episodes that are like, music does play a large part in the entire episode, as the characters Isabel and Emily are both like her older sister. Isabel is a singer and she sings in this jazz club, and we do have designs for that jazz club. If you guys remember from last live stream, we were working on that. But it doesn't play as large a role that I would like call this entire season Pianists. So we changed that around. Master Sanders, a Left KMT video. I don't think we'll be doing big China videos like Left KMT, because honestly, the viewership for China just isn't great, and at this point, like, our financial situation isn't amazing, so I cannot like put resources towards a video that only like gets about like 50,000 views, which is really tepid for a World of Kaiserreich video, especially because they're so expensive. The music has been doing great, so we still have Shandong that we can release. We also still have the illustration for who am I missing? No, I think that's it. We have Shandong that we can release, and then after that I think we're going to give China a rest for a while with the World of Kaiserreich series. Like, our overall focus is moving away from moving away from World of Kaiser, because this show requires a lot of resources right now. So this needs to be NBC. Franco, I'm actually not sure. I don't think Franco pops up in the Spanish Civil War, based on that Kaiserreich principle of primary historical figures being relegated to second fiddle. It's probably not certain that Franco is a big deal in Spain at this time. So if there are any patrons listening, if you guys are okay with your picture being shown on the stream, shoot me a DM on Discord. I haven't opened Discord yet. But I'm looking for, I think, someone to do the profile part. The patrons will know what I'm talking about. The profile part in the... actually, I can just open the picture. Let's go to these guys. Yeah, I need someone to pick up the role for the profile guy on the right side of this image. What we also need to do is figure out what this flag is going to look like. This flag in particular. We need to look for the design. For those that don't know, we're also working on a small spin-off project which is called Flag Maker and Print. And we've actually assembled a really cool team of alpha testers who will be working with our flag maker for the first time. Basically what Flag Maker and Print will do is add a create your own flag app to the web shop. Meaning you can just design your own flag and then immediately have it printed, so you can have any kind of variation that you want. It's in early alpha right now. I'll pull it up for you guys. FMP app. There we go. So this is what it looks right now. Basically, obviously this is early alpha. It's very, very broken. You'll be able, so this frame will show up in the web shop and you'll be able to basically edit any flag and create your own design. Like let's say I want to do this sort of Chile-like flag. Just take a few elements here, replace them. Want to rotate this and press this handle. So it's got all like a bunch of nice vector things going on. This one goes top. Voila, a new flag was made, and you can easily just clear all, load any country flag in the world. I think we have most of this functionality ready. So let's say we want to go for a communist Afghanistan. Right, so you guys see how it works. Basically, once you have your flag made, and you can simply press a button to have it printed and sent to you. Now this doesn't work right now, but it gives you an idea of what it does basically. Then here, it's gonna be a lot cleaner in the file version. You would do like yada yada yada, and then buy it. That's one of the side projects we're working on. If you guys are interested in that, make sure to join the Kaiser Cat Cinema Discord and sort of stay in touch with that flag maker news. Soon, the people working on the flag maker will be moving with us to... Ah, shit, I merged the mics. I shouldn't have done that. So what's important is that I need these things to be on a different layer. Because what's going to happen once I animate this, for example, what I then do is I'll cut off this arm. So I'll put that arm on a different, in a different part of the image, and then you can put like a slow rotation on it. It will be very dramatic. Actually, let me show you a rough animation of this scene.
see where did I put that? It was gonna be Divided States trailer folder, and then in the trailer folder I need like rough con. Okay, there we go. Maybe get the right. Don't want to show the full trailer just yet. But here's a couple of frames from the trailer. So basically, this guy is going to be moving down. There's Chicago riot scene that you guys may have seen on the Reddit. Alex, so the next... Here's a scene that we'll be working on in just a minute with Patreons. So here's like a rough layout for what I want for a scene, but it's basically where Agent Peterson says to Mike... by the way, this is not going to be Mike's final look. I'm taking away the glasses. Now, what's very interesting is that Mike looks like me now. But it was never like designed that way, because I only started wearing glasses like a year after I first designed Mike. And now I think it's a little weird. I don't want that to be my cameo. I don't want to be an actual like important character within the series. I have this idea of my cameo will be like some random dude in the background, which was like totally not important to the story, because I think it will be made way funnier. But basically, Peterson hands him the gun, so you can see it's really lightly animated. And basically here he's saying, I think he says, you're a good comrade, Michael, this is your chance to prove yourself to the Bureau, and hands him the gun. And I think a little after, oh yeah, that's the naughty scene with Emily, where he says, I know you care for the girl, and then I haven't fully written that part out yet, but it's basically establishing these characters and their relationship. Here's or Mr. Longstein. So this is a press briefing he's given, and he'll be using some kind of variation on this Congress of States does not accept the dictates from Washington and declares independence. So he won't be saying America is a dead nation exactly, but basically you've got these flashes going on. His arm will be moving, tak-tang. Let me see what's in the next frame. Yeah. Okay. So flash is going off, and that goes into like a guy reading about MacArthur seizes Congress, and that's about all we have, I think, for a trailer on. Yeah, everything after that I'm looking at second screen is pretty rough stuff. For example, this scene isn't fully working right now, but basically Mike walks up to Emily, says, then the whole thing goes boom, and then it says like, or casts. So there's still a lot of work to be done, and especially these scenes I want them to be really clean, and we'll be using this sort of very dark, moody style throughout. I'm thinking of shows like House of Cards, Breaking Bad, obviously literary examples. Anyway, getting back to questions. How long will the episodes be? So we will be releasing in a staggered way. So what I'm thinking is we basically release episodes in 5-minute increments. So for example, our release schedule would be episode 1 part 1, which is basically 5 minutes. Then episode 1 part 2, part 3, part 4, until we get 20 minutes, and then we re-release that as a full episode. And that allows us to sort of, obviously it's not ideal, it's one of those compromises that we have to make with being a low budget operation. So we'll be doing every episode in small little bits, and then releasing them over the course of a month, with the full episode then being uploaded after that. Alex AG asks, anything new about Russia? Russia does not feature in the animatic, but we do have some plans for a Russian World of Kaiser video. I'm still kind of waiting to see what the Russian teams are going to do, if they're still doing the rework, if we'll put it on like new Russian lore. I'm not sure what exactly is going on that front. The thing is, Kaiser is really big, guys. So like, there's a lot of guys working on things that I don't even know of because I don't have access to all the dev chats. So every time I want to make a video, I need to go to the chats first and be like, hey, what's happening? Has this lore changed? And then quite often it has, and I need to like take that into account. This ring would probably have some kind of thing going on. So as Marco says, this is a fan channel. We do not know anything about the mod, but that's not exactly fully true. We're sort of a semi-independent organization. We do send 25% of our profits to the Kaiser mod as we monetize the Kaiser art and stuff I made. So if you buy stuff from the web shop, 25% of that goes to Kaiser directly. But our main thing is definitely like making content in the world of Kaiser. So we do music, we do everything that's not a video game, basically. I think it's worked out really well. I'm very happy with the way Kaiser Cinema has been growing. We're seeing more and more people just show up and be like, hey, what's this? Never heard of this before, but I sort of got into it through YouTube, and I think that's great. People are discovering this universe because we're extremely passionate about Kaiser, and I say this every time, I say this every stream, but I think Kaiser is the most grounded historical fiction universe, and I think it has an enormous potential in terms of storytelling, because we like what's in mass media right now, like, are these really weird pikey shows like A Man in the High Castle, and I really have a chip on my shoulder about Man in the High Castle, because it's like the Germans have taken over everything, and it sort of makes no sense from a logistical standpoint. And I think what's like where the real good and evil is like it's in the subtlety. Like if you read about the Spanish Civil War, if you read about like atrocities in World War II, there's like a degree of human story there that's not being represented in, I think, modern media, and we hope to bring that back to the forefront with Kaiser Cinema. Why is this not filling up? This should be yeah, there we go. Kaiser HBO series, who knows? You know, let's see if HBO wants to call. Right now, I'm really content with like doing this stuff and releasing it for free. I don't really think we need like a high budget show to tell this story. I think I'm pretty really excited about this animatic style. I feel it has a massive potential, and it's something we can do within budget, I think. So you'll be seeing more within this style from us. Now this hand is not working because it actually sinks into the table, and that's not how hands on tables should work. I'm gonna have to cut it out. Benelux trailers, definitely. I was thinking of voicing World of Kaiserreich, Flanders, Wallonia myself, and like putting myself as a character in it. I think that would be hilarious. Being like small little nation, then making it really cool. And just sticking it to the Dutch with that video. Martijn, if you're watching this, you know I love you, man. Martijn is one of the Dutch members of the Kaiserreich team. And me and him go back and forth. Like there's a friendly rivalry between the Netherlands and Belgium, obviously. It's a lot of fun. We spent when we went to EDX Con this year, I drove him and the guys all the way to Berlin, and it was just back and forth the whole way. The whole way there. It was super interesting. So I've got a new little brush that I'm working with. If you guys see, now what's really cool about this is that it's a grainy brush, so it allows me to sort of blend the photo elements and the drawn elements of this frame together. And it creates this really interesting sort of look. Now if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna have to look at my Patreon on my Discord messages because my Discord's blowing up. Guys, I actually prefer it if you if you're messaging me on Discord during a live stream, I prefer if you message me on YouTube instead, because I've got the YouTube open on the secondary screen, so I'm always monitoring chat, and it's a little easier for me to keep everything in one place. What is this? This should not be there. Put this all the way down. There we go. By the way, guys, if you haven't joined, okay, I think this looks kind of right. If you haven't joined the Guys Get Cinema mailing list yet, make sure you do. I'll be sending out a new newsletter at the beginning of the week, and we're also working on a collaboration with the guy who does the Kaiser Leathers project, so we'll be sending him some of his lore around. Alright, Discord messages, let's see what's going on. Risky, thanks for setting your map. Luckily I use this tool, and it's a tool I can recommend to everyone. It's called Shadow Tools Everything, and it allows you to like really rapidly search for things. For example. Main flag. Yeah, it works for me, Lobster. We can put it on as an on patch. Just talking to a patron who would like to have like a little state emblem attached to his uniform. The Beret guy, I think. The Beret guy, Kellogg, if you're on the live stream, I'll write this to you in Discord as well. Beret guy is taken by. I love how we're just referring to these characters as like, this is Beret guy, and this is Hat guy, and this is Hat guy 2, and this is like Kingfish guy 1, and this is Kingfish guy 2. Pretty funny. I still need to put a little bit more work into these flags. They're not exactly working. Hand's still weird. It's kind of. Like, so much of this is just me moving and cutting into stuff, and that's what I love about Photoshop, is you can, like, if you make a mistake, you can always cut and paste your way out of it. Let's see, we smash all these together. Kellogg will take the middle guy. So that means we have, I think, all our reference photos gathered. So we will not be painting the commander today, because that particular patron wants to stay anonymous. So I'll be doing that off stream. So we'll be working on this guy. Yeah. Alright, almost through my Discord messages. Just saying, I've got all the patrons coming in right now asking for their cameo. If you're thinking of joining the Patreon right now for a cameo, I have to say you should probably wait a while, because like we have so many submissions right now. We have I think we have like close to 60 or over 60 close 60 or over 60 patrons, and I kind of want to go in the direction of like lifetime patrons. So basically how long someone has been a patron, and do the oldest guys first. So I've contacted all the oldest patrons that have been with us since the beginning first, and then like we go down the list. So if you're at the bottom of the list, it actually might take a while for you to get worked on. I'm gonna load this image as a reminder to put Kellogg here. Kellogg will be the hat guy. There we go. Alright, Kellogg might not get to that today because I want to work on those other portraits first. I thin it for now. Might not get to it today because this is kind of a shorter stream. There we go. One more Discord message. Cool launch. Yada yada yada. Yeah, okay, that works for me. Okay, back to live chat. The Kaiser convention, now that was actually a cool idea. Would be a little cringe. I don't think it would be. Like, when EDX Con, like there's always this space where people are like, oh, I'm not sure if this is gonna work. But to be honest, if 50,000 people show up and then we play some Kaiser and I'm sorry, 50,000 people, that's exaggerating. Like if we do it small, I think it could be fun. Something like in the wake of like somewhere in this, like if EDX Con is in the weekend, we could maybe have like a one-day thing, LAN thing going on with Kaiser, which could be really fun. It doesn't have to be massive to be fun. But obviously for now we're content with being a part of EDX Con. But it's definitely something that would be cool. Obviously, like everything that's events, like I really feel for people that are working in hospitality or events right now. Like everything has gone so topside with this pandemic. I mean, there's probably not gonna be a EDX Con. All events have been cancelled. I don't think. Not sure what Padrock's plans are on that front. Very interested to see what happens. This color isn't exactly right, but I'm gonna stick with it for now. No, it's a neck area that's bothering me, and these microphones as well. I think they have a little bit too much going on for them. Oscar Johnson asks, how would you like the idea of a Pirate Republic in Kaiserreich? That's more of a D&D thing for me, like Pirate Republic. I have a D&D game where like the pirate city, like a free pirate city, is like a big thing, and it's a lot of fun. Like my players love going to the pirate city because basically in the pirate city, the way I've set it up is that crime is legal because I thought it would be hilarious. So it means that like if you just want to kill some dude on the street, like you just do it. There's no laws in Port Venturas, which is what the pirate city is called. Obviously that doesn't really fit Kaiserreich. Kaiserreich is about being grounded and realistic. I would say plausible. That's probably a better word than realistic. I think realistic is it's gonna get us in trouble when we talk about the things about Kaiserreich that are not realistic, and there's definitely a couple. Well, I don't think it would be cringe, Arjun. I think actually a good idea. But obviously I think Kaiserreich isn't big enough to do a convention just yet. And then even when it is, you run into the issue of like, who's going to organize that? It's a lot of work. I actually used to do events organization back in pretty long time ago. I think when I was in my early 20s, I used to work in the events and hospitality. And I did organize my own events. And yeah, it's a massive amount of logistics. Taking this off. I probably will have to do some work on these background. I mean, look at this guy's face. He's having a wonderful time. I'm being part of the press briefing. I'm vaguely human. This is some real SCP shit. what's that SCP called? Like the one where it's like aliens and they copy humans, but it's like imperfect. Like there's like really weird abominations. Actually, I might just put a photo in here. It's like too much work to be doing all these background characters. And, we really should not spend too much time on every single frame. We need to be efficient with like the way we use time. So I think what I'm gonna do is just, there we go. Ah, the Kingfish beard, yes. So that's a bit of an idea I'm playing with. Is to make some of these characters. Actually, one of the things I've also played with, and then I'm thinking about is actually changing the names of some of these characters, because I think it's kind of weird that we're using historical people in that way. I'm not sure how the families of those people would feel about that. I'm probably not gonna like use the term Yui Long unless I absolutely have to, and like refer to him as a Kingfish. I mean, everyone knows who it is. But he's still a fictional character. Like this character we're creating has no relation to the actual man and his actual politics. I mean, his actual politics, obviously, but he's a bit of a stylized alternative, I would say. So yeah, that's Beard Yui. There we go. Right, Alexander looking good in this as a Yui Long general. Actually, the one role I'm having difficulty casting patrons for is the Wall Street suicide guy. Obviously, everyone wants to be a cool soldier. So if you're thinking of being the Wall Street suicide guy, be my guest. Something like this, maybe a little more shadow in the nose. A little more shadow. There we go. So I'm gonna make this a shorter live stream as well, guys. Meaning we'll close it down in about half an hour. I might do a longer live stream during not this weekend, but maybe next week. Oh no, next weekend I'm helping out a friend with moving. But whenever I have some time. Gotta take all these things down. Yeah, I'm probably gonna stick with the beard. I think the response so far for Bearded Yui has been great. And he's also a little skinnier, so I wanted him to feel like a little more of a gruff dude. Like this is like a harsh time, and it's definitely showing in Yui's face. The stress. A man does not simply secede from the Grand Union and not lose some sleep. So as Homero says, if we won't use the name, we will use his name, but just not like we'll probably say like Senator Long or something, and create a bit more distance between these characters. It's easier when we have like all our main characters will be fully fictional people, so people that have never existed, like Emily, Michael. Like these are all not real people. But there is like you have to be respectful of the actual people. Like they have family, they're still alive. And if it's in a mod, and then it's a little different because it's deep within the game. But we're definitely gonna put it out there with this particular mod. I think you need some kind of like this kind of color. the shape of these microphones is actually slightly different, and we'll need to alter some of them. Well, Future Fox, like one of the things we've been putting a lot of thought towards, especially the last couple of months, is alternative, basically designing alternative weapons for Kaiser, and we have a bunch of people joining us now who are our patrons, but also helping out with research, and they have they're like super knowledgeable about everything that's everything that relates to. A second, I'm just gonna cut this part out before I forget to do it. Everything that relates to weapons. So we've already come up with a few alternatives, and then we have. Let me find Emily's latest file. Emily 2020. This concept is a bit of a mess, but is it this one? Nah, it's not this one. It's a really old stuff. Yes, Future Fox says, I think a Men of War mod for Kaiserreich would be really cool. I think it's actually the title most suited to an actual Kaiserreich modification. Okay, so here's Emily. You can see her gun is actually it's an alt history gun. One thing we are not doing anymore is the face paint. So that's definitely something the community has continuously vetoed me against, and so I'm finally getting rid of all the face paint. In my defense, I love face paint. I think it's great. Makes her look really cool. But basically, this gun she has is a modified MAS. No, sorry, a modified French. What's the whatchamacallit? The thing with the 38. It's basically a 38 chambered in bar. But this is a bit of an older look for her as well, because her face has changed, and this is what Emily looks like right now. So it's quite a subtle variation that we have. But I like the idea that she's a little more youthful, like her eyes are bigger. And then if I can find the old World of Kaiserreich CSA image, probably have that one here somewhere. There we go. Like I have so much, just gigabytes of Kaiserreich art on this machine. It's ridiculous. I mean, I've been doing this for the better part of 4 to 5 years, I think. I think it's really cool that in the Divided States for the first time we'll be showing a lot of these characters, because until you make it real, like it's a lot of theory crafting. Oh my god, this is a very old. This is definitely not the correct. Ah, here we go. So this is a very old design for Emily. Before and she was actually just called Girl 13. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. But basically, you can sort of see the difference. Ah no, Annabelle. Okay, pretty sweet frame wall. So we've got the old Annabelle. So I think a lot of this. Originally, I was thinking of calling the sisters Annabelle and Isabel. I've walked away from that. So the older sister is still called Isabel, but we've got. There we go. So you can see sort of the way this character has evolved from. I think this is 2018. I actually have a similar thing for Sawyer as well. Sawyer looks slightly different. He has all of them have been slightly reworked. I'm actually gonna save this image. It's pretty nice too. If we ever do like something of a development, then you can see the way these characters have been changing. Yeah, so Homura called the modified mass the PR-37 or People's Rifle 37, which I thought was really cool. We also have the Chicago Typewriter, which is a modified MAS 38, because like a lot of these French weapons have the same same abbreviation. It's like the Type 7 joke that you have with the Japanese. What I need is the Sawyer design. So Sawyer, the darkness within. So we've got old Sawyer. Actually, this is his old animation style. And then the redesign of Sawyer was actually not made by me. It was actually done by Hussar, who put him into these AOS thing that we commissioned. I really like this redesign, like the shoulder patch, darker hat, and then what he's probably going to end up looking like, and I haven't fully finished this yet. Concepts. Yeah, this is rough. As you can see, it's just a sketch right now. Basically, he's gonna have this massive scar. Probably gonna change the hairstyle. But that's just an idea of what the characters are gonna be, how they've evolved through the years, and what they're gonna look like in the eventual animatic. I still have to do a full rework of Mike, because Mike started to look like me, which is, as I said in the beginning of the live stream, is not the original intention. That's more of a funny thing, where I only recently started wearing glasses, and that weirdly makes me look like Mike. So now I'm actually going back and taking glasses off various characters that actually had glasses before, because I feel it's too much glasses otherwise. Oscar does have a point. There were pirates, but I mean, an independent pirate republic. Like, maybe there's like a village in the Philippines that would be like a pirate base, but I think that's definitely pushing it. Out. Homero asks, what about Mike's last name? We actually don't have a last name for him right now. If you can come up with anything, just let us know in Discord. There's definitely a lot about these characters that we're still trying to figure out. Paint this out a bit. Take it up, take it down. Take this mic. So for this last half hour, I'm going to switch it up and go to a CSA scene. Obviously this scene isn't done. I'll do a bit more work on it later. There we go. Okay, Las Barricadas. This guy. Kellogg has sent me his images. Perfect, perfect. So we've got Kellogg. And then we've got, where's my reference board? Need this one. Yep, there we go. The Future Fuck asks, do you think that any of the divided state stuff will change the main game? I don't really think so. I think like the Kaiser main lore is something that develops independently of this particular storyline. And the divided states only shows like one possible timeline. I think what we need is Kellogg's images. They haven't fully downloaded yet, so I'm just gonna... Actually, this is not Kellogg. This is Murder Penguin. Murder Penguin. There we go. Patron Murder Penguin will be taking the hat position. Let me just rotate him slightly. There we go. So I'm actually really happy that the response to these frames has been really good, because this sort of creates a cool little thing we can do with our patrons, where basically everyone gets a little cameo within the universe. And then what I think I'm gonna do, which would be really cool, is have, like, at the end of an episode we'll have this credits scene. Someone says we should put Kellogg's face on a box in the back, on a box of cereal in the background. That would actually be hilarious. But I did promise him he could be like a CSA soldier, so cannot go back on that promise now. So what I was saying, everyone does this little cameo, and it makes it like this sort of moment in time. So we'll be looking at this in 10 years and be like, oh, remember when we made that animatic? It was really cool. And here's all the people that like helped support it. I'm actually thinking of, once I'm finished with the patrons, I'll reach out to the people who like the top webshop customers, and we have a list of those. And be like, hey, you guys want to be part of this? Because obviously, because you bought so much from the webshop, you also supported this animatic. And I'm thinking Kellogg needs like one of those fancy hats, you know, the sharp ones? The ones that a wise guy would wear. Because he's a wise guy, you see. I'm gonna check if you guys still have music. Yeah. Yeah, so Jokey talks about the Belgian royalists in Canada, and then I actually had an idea of when we do the Flanders Wallonia video, that I would actually be like a hidden Belgian loyalist in the background, like clutching this sort of crucifix or like some kind of effigy of the king, and then my entire speech that I would give would basically be like, I actually think I wrote something for this. Let me look that up. Flanders Wallonia. Oh, here we go. World of Kaiser, Flanders Wallonia. So I have a lot of these, which is like, you know, the notes for the World of Kaiser, but it's basically like probably going to be 3 lines. Ah, here we go. We have traded the oppression of the French elite for the cold and harsh rule of German technocrats. Our strive for an independent republic, scarred again by the machinations of European great powers. We have learned now that the lower countries have no friend in London, Berlin or Paris. And then at the end I would say, alles voor Vlaanderen, Vlaanderen voor Christus. Something like that, but probably with a more royalist. I really love the Belgian like restoration arc, and I think we do something with that. All right, let's get this. If you guys are digging the music, remember that we have Royalist Radio live stream episode 3 releasing next week. Then Fengtian tomorrow, and people have already been asking me about the Fengtian music. I will upload it. I'm always uploading music. I know you guys love that. And this is again one of those baller tunes. But obviously I can only do so much. I am one man, so it all takes a while. And right now I'm painting this wise guy, you see. Probably add a bit of light on the rim of this hat, I think it's called a brim hat. I'm not exactly sure. Ace asks if we put ranks in the CSA store. So a couple of the patrons have actually asked to have particular basically a particular symbol or something on their vests, and we'll give them that. This particular, actually I'll put a note in here. This particular patron has asked to put a patch that signifies is due to some kind of mainer, like a main division guy. So that means there will be the pine tree, and we'll have the thing in the top left. Just need to not forget that's there. There we go. I think this needs to be a little higher. This needs to be a little So I'll probably spend a large part of next week painting in patrons. I'm out of work right now, which means I can only work on Kaiser Cat Cinema, which is great for the channel, terrible for my finances. But it's okay, we can last a while. Liechtenstein. I think Liechtenstein is pretty unchanged. It's kind of one of those countries that gets a free pass on when bad stuff happens. I might need some different reference photos so I have a bit more of an idea of what the eyes are gonna look like. Need a little bit here. So basically, I'm letting the patrons pick where they want to be on the CSA side or the Union State side, and we actually have something interesting coming up. I'm working together with the Kaiser developers right now to install a new bot. We're basically getting Gaius Plus for both the Discords and sharing that bot, and then will allow us to do a bunch of new stuff, which would be very cool. Like for example. Basically, it's got some kind of play functionality that I still have to look into, and it would allow people to sort of pick a side and then be part of the combined syndicates or the American Union State, and then play games in some capacity and win prizes. And maybe we'll do something like a web shop giveaway based on those prizes. And like get people to do things for their faction and have rounds. Like there's like some interesting stuff we can do there, but I still haven't fully figured out how I want to use it. Probably need to like take a day or two to sit down with that bot and like see what the functionalities are. Mirror Penguin, you should, if you're on here, drop me a message on Discord and let me know. Like maybe should we give you like a cool scar or something? Should we do something with your face, or just do it as is? A bit of stubble. We can actually, I think we can give him an MAS 36. There we go. I'll expand this a little more. What I love about these CSA militia, this particular frame, you can see like each of these guys is wearing a completely different uniform, and I think that's going to be fun to sort of paint all these guys in. And this is basically everyone just wearing what they brought from home. Maybe the guy on the left is some kind of military advisor. Haven't fully figured that out yet. Actually, baseball caps were a thing in the US in like the 1930s, right? I mean, there was baseball. I think a lot of these would make cool loading screens as well. Britain nationalists. Well, we do have the sort of the what should we call it? The guys who do the whole secessionist path. Autonomists? Yeah, the autonomists. That basically is the option to disband a large part of the Union of Britain to be like autonomic worker states. Not sure if that's what you mean with Britain nationalists, but that is in mod. Oh, murder got back to me. Actually, talking to Mirror Penguin as we speak with this. Maybe some light scoring. He could be a volunteer from it. Could he be from Italy right now? All right. I'm thinking of Googling scars. Maybe not on a live stream because I'm not sure what happens when you Google that on. Might be not exactly the most appetizing thing to look at. So let's say I'll do some research on scars off live stream, guys. Talking about live stream, I'm gonna call this one quits in about 10 minutes. And maybe we'll do like a longer live stream somewhere in the coming weeks where I spend like a couple of hours. But I just wanted to take this time to check in with you guys. Just go over the news again. Make sure to sign up to our newsletter and our social channels, which is guysgetcinema.com pages. Actually, just guysgetcinema.com landing. And that's actually a place where we combined all our social media links, so it's really easy to just find us: Discord, Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, all that stuff. Going to... There we go. So make sure to visit that link. We also have the web email sign up, and I think I have that one on the left here. Where do I have that one? KCC. I should have saved that link somewhere. may have lost our email sign up link, which is not great. Actually, I think it's a bit.ly. If I can remember correctly, it was bit.ly/KCC mail sign up. Oh shit, I remembered. Awesome. /KCC mail sign up. There we go. So we'll be sending out our newsletter in a bit, so make sure you sign up and stay up to date with the latest and greatest in Kaiser Cat cinema. We have Feng Tian releasing tomorrow. We have a new radio episode for you guys next week. I'll also be posting a Dev Diary probably in our live stream. Obviously we have a little bit more time now to work on everything. We're trapped indoors, so expect to see more of us. So he's got this going on. A bit of trippiness. Couple questions. The Kaiser hat with no brim. We don't. You cannot get a hat without brim from the web shop. Like it's not possible with our current supplier. It's one of those things people do ask. For example, the patches and pins. Again, we've looked for it, still haven't found anyone, and it's one of those things that you need to have a stock of. And so we're checking for a stocking partner. The problem is we need to pay extra, like we need to pay rent stocking space, and it's very expensive. It's like $2,000 a year to have one both in Europe and in the US, which would ensure that we have like really fast delivery. But we just don't have the money right now. Like we're definitely feeling the Corona crunch. People are buying less merchandise, which is normal, obviously. And we just don't have a lot of money right now in Kaiser Cat Cinema. I think we were in quite a big deficit, but at the beginning of last month, I was like, I went through the numbers. I was like, holy, we're like 2K in debt. Luckily, that has recovered because of the webshop sales and all the new patrons that showed up. So thanks, guys. But it's still like there's so many things we want to do, but they're so expensive. Like, what I really want to do if I had like a lot of money is we have this song written, which is like a French marching song based on Wo alle Straßen enden, like the German military defeat song. A very beautiful piece. If you can go to YouTube, like check out Dr. Ludwig's channel. He's like a guy who uploads marches and stuff. And we have an idea to do a French version of that based on Kaiserreich lore. But the problem is we need to rent an entire brass orchestra, and like it's gonna cost somewhere north of a couple $1,000, and right now we have like $400, I think. And like those $400 needs to pay for the Kaiserreich documentary, and the voice actor is fairly expensive as well. Obviously, he's a professional, he does great work. It also needs to pay for everything for the divided stage, which it won't be able to do. So I'll probably pay for this out of my own pocket. I think beyond that, we'll have to be a little more selective with the way we use the money. So I'm not sure that we can focus on like really specific items on the web shop this year. We'll see how things go. Maybe he needs a scarf. This is just a maybe. I'm just gonna put something in here and then see later on where I want to stick with that idea. Maybe his second hand could be somewhere here. I feel he needs his second hand to be closer. Take off the scarf. Stretch the hand. Yeah. Okay, I think we're. I hope you're liking it, Murder Penguin. So I'll be working a bit more on your guy. Probably, actually, I have some jobs in the house I need to do tomorrow during Labor Day. We have a lot of broken lamps here. Then I'll also work on our patrons that don't want to be shown on stream. So there's a couple that would prefer to stay anonymous, so we'll be doing them offline. And I think that's gonna be it for this live stream, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it and you guys had some questions answered about Divided States. You guys are very excited about the upcoming animatic. I will be posting a dev diary in the coming week, probably Wednesday-ish. Just a second, I need my manager here. I will be posting that video, and it will just go a little more in depth into the Divided States and show some of the animation we already have. And that is where I'm going to leave this live stream. So thank you all for joining us, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, you know, do all the YouTube stuff. And while I'm here, I have a bit of time. I'm just going to go down the list and read all the patrons in alphabetical order. We don't often take the time to read and thank every single one of you. And there are many of you now. I think there's like up to 60 patrons. So thank you for supporting Kaiser Cinema. Alex Lepage, Alexander, Alvin CM Engo, Andrew Duran, Arnaud Teverish Mandeville, Ben Davenport, Big Mike's Mystery Box, Brandybuck, Bryce Stotler, Chloe Aaron, Cronest, Daniel Smith, Davo, De Preussen, Douglas Orndell, Donovan Matthew Ezzy, Jill Bates, Higgins the Seagull, Jan Brandeis, Jason Sanderson, Julio Arce or Arce Martins, I'm not exactly sure, Kazia, KK Kirkcare 13, Kingfish 58, Lobsterman of New England Gang, Lieutenant Shovelhead, Lucas Crumbow, Luke Downer, Luna Walter, Mr. Knowledge, Morton Svensson, Matt Davies, Matthew Schwetz, Michael Fury, Mitchell McDonald, MJB, Moyotien 55, Otto von Bismarck, Pablo Fernandez, Patrick Allen, Richard, Rogan, Russell Apfel, Sarah Parker Schemiltz, Shane Montoya, Sir Sheikh, Stefan Gunnarsson. Is that are you on here twice, Stefan? I'm pretty sure I already saw your name pass by. Okay, Stefan Gunnarsson, Tester Man, page 2, The Batner, Tom Servo, Tree Shaker Tucker, Trace Sanabria, Tiber 109, Vincent Galeana, Volodja, Will TP22, and Wroclaw, or Vlok. I'm not really good with Polish pronunciations. Thank you guys, thank you all for supporting Kaiser Cinema and continuing to support Kaiser Cinema. And I hope to catch all of you guys for the next one. I'm gonna cut the stream there, and I will see you guys later. Let me just do one more. Yeah, that should do it. See you guys.
Kaiser Cinema needs you. Back the attack. Share our content or dash over to our alt history webshop.